Hello there, and welcome to Global Formula Automobilista, the Japanese Grand Prix of Season 2, where on the formation lap, 6th place starting Gilles Villeneuve has already spun out. He's got it going again, but that's not the way he wants to start the race. Anyway, yes, Japan, Okayama International Circuit, where today we could potentially see the Constructors' Championship decided. Sterling Moss takes pole for Red Knight, his first pole position, I think first for the team, definitely this season it is the first for Red Knight. I know they had a few, I think Laguna Seca. What about? First this season. Sebastian Vettel takes second for Harvey Racing, ahead of Valentino Rossi in the Siggy Pop. As what in... Right, Nick Heidfeld in third place in the championship is going to start fourth place in this race, but he's now got to get past Jenson Button, who tried to Okay, I did not expect this to be happening on the formation lap. Villeneuve is 6th and Jim Clark is now 7th, stuck behind Beloff somehow. Yep, 7th Beloff. Felix Costa 9th, Fangio 10th, Brabham 11th, and Verstappen in 12th. Chris Hoy takes 13th ahead of Phil Hill, Bertrand Gachot, Alain Prost, Kuri Kobayashi, Sophia Flörsch, Ayrton Senna, Dan Gurney, John Watts, Michael Schumacher, Mika Hakkinen, Sergio Perez, Damon Hill. And somehow Kas Racing ended up 26th, 28th on the grid with home driver Inoue 26th, Lance 27th and Hamilton 28th. I'm getting to the quiz because I want to press space to skip formation because they've all got into a mess. Right. Let's just get that fixed. Anyway, Japanese Grand Prix, Okayama International Circuit, we are go! It's a pretty clean start for everyone. Vettel going up the inside of Moss. Got a bit of a slide and Vettel's been hit. Vettel's been hit by a few cars. Somebody's gone flying off the road. I think it was Rossi and there's contact. Massive contact. Brabham's taken a big hit. Taken out of air. Rossi taken out. Hackett stopped in the middle of the track. That's a big crash. But as here as it's Sterling Moss defends, there's Nick Heidfeld. Heidfeld from 4th on the grid shoots up the inside. Ironically through the Moss S's. And they're side by side down the back straight. As we head down into the hairpin, Moss has taken the lead back, but Heidfeld chooses the inside line. Nick Heidfeld's going to take the lead, and actually Moss might get shuffled down here, but Vettel's going to go around the outside. He's going to get shown wide, and this Button gets through now. Right, Felix crosses up to 7th, Beloff, Verstappen and Hoy. Let's quickly go back and see what that absolute mess at the first corner was. So it was Rossi So Button has tried to cut the inside of Moss, got it all wrong. Rossi's hit Button, Button's then hit his teammate. Oh sorry, Vettel hit Button. Rossi's then got punted onto the grass. He's lost it, come back on slow right down. Teammate Jim Clark smacks into the back. David Brabham smacks into the back of him. Phil Hill then piles into the back of Brabham, who's then piled into by Kobayashi. Brabham goes for an absolute launch. And somehow we've got a load of cars with a load of damage. So let's just choose a separate camera that's not breaking the... I don't know. Right, so we've got Valentino Rossi without rear wing. Clark is now missing both front and rear wing. Senna's got no front wing. Perez is fine. Mansell is fine. Kobayashi's missing a front wing. Brabham's missing both. Phil Hill is missing both. And all of this, Hamilton is up to 18th. Inoue is up to 17th. Gachot's still crawling around without front wing. Where's Gurney's fine. So in all of this, both Siggy Pops and both Polestars, two teams which are still in contention for the Constructors' Championship. Well, I'm just going to say that they aren't anymore. And to be honest, Kobayashi without front wing, that's going to hit High-Tech's chances. Seeing as both High-Tech, both Kas Racing cars got through that absolute mental mess. I think we'll actually go and see some onboards. That's what we're missing, yeah. Since they've both got through that mess, this basically hands the title to Kas. So Vettel gets a slide, Rossi punts into him, gets pushed wide onto the grass, loses it, And oh, that's scary with Brabham coming absolutely launching over the top. So Clark hits the brakes to avoid his teammate, but he doesn't. He gets hit by Brabham. Then Brabham gets pushed by Hill. He takes to the end. Oh, that is so scary. So Hill jumps up. Senna's got a front wing missing. Senna joins in the crash. And oh dear, just everything that could go on. Both C-Fox went wide. Brabham goes flying. Well, he just got punted through basically, and still being hit as he gets to the exit. Scary moment, and the pit stops. Well, the pit crew is going to get busy. So as we head towards the final two corners, Heidfeld leads, a position he's been used to all this championship, and a place that he'd like to be at the end of this race to end Kas Racing's 5-race winning streak. Sterling Moss has dropped to second, Button up to third, and Vettel down to fourth. Fangio's under pressure there from Villeneuve, and Villeneuve sweeps through but gets it a bit wrong. Fangio takes the position back, and Felix da Costa's now getting involved. Can he get past? Probably not. Verstappen up into 8th, Villeneuve down, and Chris Hoy up into 10th. Across 11th, Gurney up to 12th. Impressive drive from him so far. Flörsch 13th, Michael Schumacher up 8 places to 14th. That's what avoiding the crash means to you. Watson now 15th with the 2KF1 finally getting their high downforce wings. As the Kasses are already 1 and 2 places off the points after 1.5 laps. Felix da Costa has been shuffled down here. Maybe, yeah, Verstappen's moved up. I think we're going to get a replay of all this. So, Moss is that? No, Fangio is holding this pack up. Who's going to have a lunge into the hairpin? Villeneuve thinks about it. Felix da Costa really thinks about it. He gets a little bit of contact with Villeneuve. Verstappen slides through. Beloff and Hoy both go through on the inside of the hairpin, but that gives you the outside for the next corner. Felix da Costa back up into 8 as Hoy gets a power slide on as he tries to get past. Beloff now having to defend from Prost at the head into Redman corner, or Redman corner. He'll fly through this slow section of hairpins at the back, through Hobbs corner, into the Mike Knight corner. Yes, all these corners do have random names. This one is quite, helpfully called Last Corner. Oh, as Beloff gets some air on the exit curb. Felix da Costa having a look at Verstappen into first corner, which is the name of the first corner. It's helpful when they do that. Felix da Costa, good move, gets past the NLE. Right, so where were we? So Schumacher put a move on Flörsch up into 13th. Watson now going to defend for Hamilton and Inoue. As he goes through the Moss S's. Inoue here is on a bit of a charge. What can he do to get past Hamilton? Damon Hill's 18th, Mansell's Perez 20th. So, and Hackenen's the last of the non-pitters. David Brabham now makes it into the stop. Gashos goes through Kobayashi, Senna, Phil Hill, Rossi, Jim Clark. Oh, it's just bad to worse for Ziggy Pop. So two Harveys are sat there line astern, seeing if they can work together to get past the Red Knight, or if they're just going to ruin each other's races. As there we go, as Inoue has actually got past Hamilton somewhere. And Inoue's past Schumacher, but Schumacher back up the inside into Hobbs. And Watson going to get past both Kas Racing through Hobbs corner, but loses it on the rear, doesn't get past into Mike Knight and into the last corner. As Hamilton gets a bit of a slide there. I think we'll go back and get some onboards of this mess. So Inoue has gone up the inside of Hamilton into the hairpin. Helpfully known as hairpin corner. As we get into Revolver, Hamilton is back there behind Inoue. Watson gets forced out wide by Schumacher and Inoue goes up the inside into Piper. Hamilton tries to get past Watson on the extra Piper towards Redman. Inoue and Schumacher side by side through Redman. Schumacher has the inside line for Hobbs. And Watson turns off and gets past both Kasses, but has a bit of a kick and a slide. And Inoue gets back through. Howell takes some curve through Mike Knight. Thinks about a move on the inside of the last corner, but too much of a slide. Stays behind. For the moment at least. I mean, it's not going to be long. Inoue having a look at Schumacher into first corner. Not yet, as Watson is forced wide, but he keeps the place into Williams. As they shoot up next into the Mercedes, Watson seems quite capable of keeping Hamilton behind for just, well, that corner, I'd say. Hamilton is probably going to blast past with his extra engine power. Well, Watson's got a good enough lead, I'd say. Oh no, it should be done on the brakes easily. Hamilton sends it, really sends it. Watson has to give way. Hamilton up to 16th. But actually now Hill has a go at Watson. He gets forced wide, and Mansell's going to take the position. So Mansell wins the battle of the George GP cars. Schumacher and Inoue still battling through the Redmond-Hobbs hairpin section. And it's taken until now for Inoue to finally get the move done. Beloff now sat behind Chris Hoy. He's going to see if he can get past the Argentine race winner. He looks to Costa in 7th. I think all this battling has fallen away a bit from Gilles Villeneuve, which is allowing him to focus his attack on Fangio, although it's not been the biggest of attacks I don't think we've ever seen. The Harveys are split up. Button's just starting to gap his teammate Vettel and trying to keep up with Moss, but Moss is falling away from Heidfeld quite quickly. So after his pit stop for 2 wings, David Brabham has now fallen to the back, and he's trying to catch up Jim Clark, who also lost front and rear wings. Rossi's ahead of them, fighting with Phil Hill for 25th. Senna up ahead, Kobayashi 23rd. Gasho in 22nd. Hakkinen is nowhere near the back of the pack, but considering he didn't take any damage, I think he's quite happy that he'd rather be stuck at the back of the pack than the head or somewhere in the middle or at the back of the other pack of miscreants further back. So Hamilton now is going to try and get past Schumacher, right on board through last corner. Under the big Kenwood signs. There's Taki Inoue, it's 1:15.6, the fastest lap of the race. He's on it. There's a bit of a bump there, a bit of a crest as you go through Williams, which some of the faster cars seem to be jumping over. Hamilton thinks about a move to the inside of Atwood curve to get past Schumacher, but not going to happen yet. I don't think. You best just sit behind, get them down here into the hairpin. Oh, he's lifted to pull out. Oh, and Schumacher's had to get out of the way. But Hamilton makes it. Jim Clark now takes the fastest lap. Hamilton gets a bit loose over the bumps, and Schumacher cuts the curve, trying to get past Hamilton. All seems fine though. Flörsch is the next driver who's going to be under pressure as now Heidfeld takes over the reins as fastest lap holder. And as I say, that Villeneuve does as well. Now Stefan Beloff has dropped a few positions here because last time I checked he was right behind Chris Hoy. So he was. So actually Gurney's gone to the inside of Prost and decided to just send it past Beloff as well. And in that, Beloff had to just get out of the way. So Dan Gurney here with a triple slipstream just completely outbrakes Prost, and then Beloff is also outbraked, and he's like, fine then, I'll take that. Beloff is probably not expecting it. I mean, you can see Prost in the mirror, and Gurney just out of nowhere. Beloff gets scared wide, and Prost takes the position. Well, Beloff wasn't sitting fastest lap that time, as Taki Inoue is now setting new fastest lap, as he closes up to the back of this pack. Gurney already up 10 places in the Excelsior. One of only 2 teams left on the grid still rocking the low downforce. The other one being Jaws. Although this circuit is probably one where that's not going to help because it's all corners. But for the moment, he's doing okay with it. And it seems that Trish has ruined it for about 6 or 7 drivers already. That massive crash on the first lap. It's not going to be too hard to score points as long as you survive the race. So anyway, the championship I was hoping to discuss on the formation lap that I then had to, not, as I think Button got some air out of last corner. And I think Inoue has got past Flourish somewhere. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he has. Yes, Inoue is past Fear Flourish. Oh, I thought it'd be an overtake down the straight. No, Flourish has got past Prost into Revol, and they're side through Revolver. Flourish has held Inoue up as they get into Piper. So is this going to be a dive up the inside? Into Redmond? No. Well, it might be a dive at Hobbs then. It is just a quick burst of acceleration, and Inoue's through at Redmond. So yes, Kas Racing currently have a enormous lead in the Constructors Championship. I think it's 96 points, which is ridiculous. It's a grand total of 38 available at each race in this season. So, 3 races to go. That's 114 points. But of course, when this race is over, there will only be 76 points available. So, High-Tech, Polestar and Siggy-Pop need to get this gap down to below 76 if they have any chance of scoring the Constructors title or making it at least last to the next race. So with High-Tech 96 behind, they need to outscore Kas Racing by 21 points. It's already been made a bit trickier because Red Knight took the 1 point pole position, so that's 37 points available now for a 1-2. That's all they have left. As Button gets a bit of a bump through Mike Knight. Carries on absolutely fine though until he gets a bigger jump out the final corner. Button needs to change his line there, because Vettel's going to get him up the inside into the first corner. Oh, big slide though, and Button gets a line. He's got the inside line for Williams. Vettel's going to try it round the outside, side by side between the 2 Harveys. And Vettel keeps the position. Oh, there's contact as Fangio rams into the back of Button in the braking area. You see this unfold. So Vettel's got the position, gets a big slide on the exit. Button's got the line into Williams, but they both lose it over the bump, which Fangio hasn't done. Mosses is then both ruining each other's lines. Fangio just miscalculates that in the braking zone. So yes, basically, High-Tech need an absolute miracle. They need Hydeford to win the race, Kobayashi to get into the points, and Kas to just evaporate from the race. They need squeaky bum time to eradicate the Irish team, or the title is won. Polestar and Siggy-Pop. Well, Polestar need to outscore Kas by 26 points, and Siggy-Pop need to outscore them by 30 points. Now, seeing as Kas are currently sat 13th and 15th, and Polestar are currently 22nd and 27th, while Siggy-Pop 26th and 28th, and has Rossi had to make another pit stop somewhere? He must have done. He has. Not too sure how or why. Has he lost his front wing somewhere? Yeah, so with Rossi a lap down, I don't think Siggy-Pop are looking to score 30 more points. than Kas. They need everybody else to have the squeakiest of bum times you've ever seen in your life. Whereas Rossi lost his front wing because, oh, he's done a lap without it. Did the team just run out of front wings and that's the, okay. The contact with Senna has flipped Valentino Rossi over. He's rolled it twice. He's hit the wall, but he's landed on his wheels. Valentino Rossi, control from post 7, car 46, rolled and continued. Wait, what? Rolled and continued? Yes, rolled and continued. He landed on his wheels. Well, that's something you don't see every day. Valentino wins in style, definitely. Style, yeah, that went to Rossi. Control definitely didn't go to Senna. Damage went to Senna, and aggression definitely went to Senna in that one. Let's get on board with Senna. So what's happened here? Yeah, so Phil Hill descended up the inside of Senna into the hairpin. Rossi has then turned up and also got through, but Senna's fought back but completely misjudged his line and braking point. He's hit the back of Rossi and ridden over him into Revolver. As he's landed, the rear wheels have interacted, and it's just, Rossi's wheel is driving down at this point. Senna's wheel is driving up. Therefore, there's an upward force, and Rossi has just been flung up into the air. He's gone over, bounced. Look, he's bounced down sideways. Oh, the angle. He's gone up. He's gone over. He's bounced it. It's rolled a couple of times and then smacked into the tyres. Landed wheels up, and he must be so concussed he decided that it's a clever idea to keep driving. Well, that answers the question of why is Valentino Rossi suddenly a lap down? There you go. Who'd have thunk it? So, as we're halfway through lap 10, Nick Heidfeld has a 1.5 second lead over Sterling Moss, who started on pole. Heidfeld's climbed 4 places in that first lap, thanks to the absolute mess that Vettel and Rossi caused. Vettel himself is now in 3rd place, having got past his teammate, but is now 3.5 seconds off Moss in 2nd place. Button is right behind, and Fangio is also close to joining in the fun with the Harveys. Villeneuve is holding off Antonio Felix da Costa, who's on an absolute flyer. He's got a best result of, what's that, 10th, 11th? He scored 5 points at some point. So, Felix da Costa on his best finish for the moment. Max Verstappen is in 8th, 2 seconds further back, with Chris Hoy right behind Verstappen. Beloff has dropped, he's 4.2 seconds behind Hoy, but he's got to the head of this pack, with Dan Gurney in 11th, Prost in 12th, and Inoue there, still stuck with Sophia Flörsch, battling the German. Flörsch doing her best, actually, to halt the Kas's charges. It's working quite well. Hamilton's now 15th, with Schumacher dropping back, Watson doing his best to hang on, Mansell and Hill not really hanging on. Häkkinen's up to 20th, having got past Perez. And Gasho is then just a long way back, 15 seconds off, the first of the drivers to have pitted. Kobayashi, Phil Hill, Senna, Clark, Brabham, and the mental Valentino Rossi. Where we stand. So actually Button and Fangio just starting to drop away from Vettel. Vettel's obviously found some pace in these first few laps, in these latest few corners, and is managing to break away. Talking of breaking away, Felix da Costa, who was right with Villeneuve last time we saw them, is now about 1.5 seconds behind. Villeneuve is close to Fangio. We can get a good run through the last corner. We get a good chuck down into the first one. Not going to be this lap, unfortunately. So Beloff's heading this pack that's got the Kas Racing cars stuck in it. As soon as pit stops appear, those two should be absolutely released. But, pardon me. Flörsch appears to have held up Hamilton until a massive lift through the middle of the Moss S's over the bump. And Hamilton has to sit behind 15th. He had to lift in the middle of that kinky straight as Hamilton up the inside of Flörsch. That was a late dive. Flörsch only just got out of the way and Hamilton only just avoided contact. Inoue now coming up to Prost. The Hobbs corner has been a favourite overtaking spot of his, so if he can line up through Redmond, you could see Inoue go to the right here. Now he's going to happily sit behind Prost. Try and line him up through the next two corners. Mike Knight will do the job quite nicely, although he's not really close enough. He's going to have to get a much better line here through the last corner, which he does. And I think, oh, Gurney's lifted off. Prost has pulled out, and Inoue's also pulled out to go around him, but has lifted out in anticipation of something massive or a yellow flag or something, and it's not been there. Horner and Verstappen are right with each other still. This little battle here for fourth place is close, but it's not really happening at the moment, so I think we'll go back to Inoue. What can he do? Can he get it past? Plus, can he do it with Gurney and send it up inside of two drivers? No, Inoue's sitting back. Jim obviously told them, you know, you're together, you're scoring points. Just keep it calm. We are winning the championship as it stands because all our rivals are throwing it away. Yeah. High-Tech need to score 21 points more than Kas. Kas are currently scoring 5 points and High-Tech are scoring 20. That's only a 15-point difference. With Kobayashi down in Irrelevanceville in the mid-20s, having lost his front wing early on, this is basically a cruise for Kas. As, whoa, dang, Gurney there. Final exit curb. Gets an enormous twitch. How he's not in the wall, I do not know. He's just a little bit wide, takes a lot of curve, gets caught on the curve, and well, actually from on board it's nowhere near as frightening as it looked off board. Yeah, look at this. Look at that, that is so much more scary than what actually happened from on board. Banjo's 3 tenths behind Jensen Button. It's right on board Button from the rear wing, staring back at the red knight. Generally can keep him behind on the straight, and it's a, you know, it's a massive breaking point into the hairpin. That's where all the overtakes have been happening, well, all the major ones. A few happening elsewhere, but that's kind of your main overtaking spot. Sit in the slipstream, send it down the straight and smash on the brakes as you get into the hairpin. Heifeld has got Sterling Moss still about a second behind. I mean, he's brought it up from 1.5 seconds as Heifeld was the latest driver to get a massive launch off the exit curve at the final corner. Somebody surely is going to have a massive accident there at some point. But not at the moment. It is worth going back because Hamilton has passed Inoue, as he's actually just slingshotted behind out of Piper. Inoue's got a bit balks behind Prost. He's just going to be up the inside into Redmond. It is, and Inoue, knowing that the championship and everything is on the line here, didn't want to fight it too hard. So no, what can he do here? Is he going to think about sending it from the exit? I mean, Hamilton's currently jumping, so that is Inoue's chance. Hamilton will have lost momentum through there. I mean, that's the thing, these Kas drivers, they're clearly quick enough to carve their way through the pack. They're just screwing each other over rather than helping each other. And they're making silly mistakes like that all the time. Which is just, again, forcing them to squabble. Hamilton runs wide atward, meaning Inoue can get close, but he has a really awful exit. And again, Inoue is close to Hamilton, and Hamilton is to Prost. Hamilton defends from Inoue. That's not going to happen. Hamilton needs to stop worrying about his teammate and try and focus on getting past Prost. If he can get past Prost and get that falcon between him and his teammate, he can focus on disappearing up the road rather than, you know, worrying about his championship rival getting in his way and getting past. At the final corner, Hamilton leery on the curb again. And all the while he just falls away from Prost down the straight because of it. Oh, that's a great camera angle as they all shoot into Williams' corner. Aiming at the distance marker. Gurney doing an excellent job of holding this lot up. The low downforce means that he's just, you know, able to hold them up down the straight. They can't keep up with him because he's got low drag. And then just parks it on the apexes in all the corners. So it's why it's 2.6 seconds back from Stefan Beloff, and why Prost and the Kasses are stuck. Excelsior has finally reached full power, so you know, Dan Gurney is probably the quickest car in a straight line on this grid now. Least drag, same amount of power as everybody else on max power, so probably pretty powerful. I mean, well, I could actually like properly check, but it's worth heading back to the front because the gap at the lead is down to 6/10. So I wouldn't be surprised if Heidfeld's had a little bit of a moment through his final corners. Well, Moss is just straight up quicker than Heidfeld. He's catching on. Unless Heidfeld had a slide through turn 1. No. Moss is quicker. So 6/10 is now the lead gap. Moss catching up to Heidfeld, seeing what he can do. Anything impressive so far? Well, it's half a second now. So for reference, here you go, Heidfeld is doing 183 before he hits the brakes. 183 miles an hour before he hits the brakes. And the slipstream, 187 for Fangio. 183 fixed the cost, 187 in the slipstream. Where's Dan Gurney gone? Dan Gurney's been shuffled right down here. So he... Oh no, he's gone onto the curb and lifted instead of keeping his foot down, he's lifted to kind of preserve the car and his back. Prost has then gone up the inside into first corner. Hamilton has joined in straight away and gone round the outside of Williams. There's contact between Inoue and Gurney. Inoue is then stuck there and they're side by side through the moss Kasses. Inoue has to sit behind. There's contact again as Inoue. Gurney gets forced wide. Now Flörsch has lost the front wing. So Inoue is just getting pummeled by everybody and he's got away with it. Gurney's been shuffled down. Here you go. Gurney in the slipstream is at 181. He's not even in 6th gear. Gurney back up the inside of Inoue. And Flörsch now stuck without a front wing. And Schumacher thinking, oh, that's points I can smell. So this is the break Hamilton needed. Hamilton needs to get on with it and get past Prost as soon as he possibly can. Inoue is going to be stuck behind Gurney until he either gets past or has more contact and crashes. So we'll have to see which is the end we get. Prost doesn't take much curb, Hamilton takes a bit more. Gurney seems quite happy. Look, Hamilton's just letting Prost pull away. It's half a second the gap now. What are you doing? You're supposed to be, you know, one of the championship leaders. You know, you've won the last 2 races, Lewis. Why aren't you trying to get past a bit more? Unless he's saving up this straight. Here we go. So let's just see what Gurney's top speed is. There's no way he's not going to get past on this lap. No way. Look, he's doing 187 without a toe. That's what the other drivers are doing with a toe. So Gurney looks pretty safe down that straight. The Hakkinen has got himself past the George GP of Damon Hill. He's now battling Mansell for 17th place. Watson is on the fringes of the points at this point in time, now that Flörsch has got out of the way with the front wing damage. There's a rear wing off at turn 1. Somebody is missing a rear wing at the first corner. I'm going to have to go searching for it. It's Flörsch! Has Flörsch come out the pits and had a rear wing removed instantly? Yes, she has. So Flörsch exits the pits and she's battling David Brabham here. Oh, really slow on the apex, and Brabham wasn't paying enough attention to that. So bad to worse for Flörsch there. Both of these are probably going to go a lap down as it's now, thanks to that. Polestar's chances of staying in this battle are getting even worse. Well, they're trying to avoid getting unlapped by the rolled Rossi. And Newey is still stuck behind Gurney, and Hamilton is still stuck behind Prost. This is so surprising. How are Kas Racing, who've been so dominant, struggling to get past? The best drivers on the grid pretty much, the points tell you that. As Verstappen and Hoy have shot up towards Felix da Costa. This is now a 3-way battle between DTK and NLE, which I mean, we were used to seeing last year, but for the lead, not for 7th. Villeneuve and Fangio are closest to Buttons. Vettel has accelerated away from that pack with his teammate and is catching up to Moss to try and make this a 3-way battle for the lead. Moss is only just dropped away a little bit, so it is built up to about a second behind to Heidfeld, sorry. But they're close, they're doing what they can. It is worth going back here to Verstappen, because Verstappen is right behind Felix da Costa now. This is super close. Is there going to be a move? Now I can see that the leaders are catching up to Brabham and Flörsch. We're driving around without any damage, but we'll just see this Verstappen up the inside of Felix da Costa, and Hoy's going to try and get involved as well, but Felix da Costa got the inside line for Revolver. Hoy tries to battle it around the outside. Felix keeps the position, so Verstappen gets through. Heidfeld does manage to put a lap on David Brabham. Brabham it pits. Heidfeld takes a lot of curb, so Heidfeld's lost some time there. But really the time gain with Sebastian Vettel, as Moss has also lost out with Brabham trying to pit and brake in the middle of the straight. So 1.6 seconds covers the top 3. As I think Gurney and Inoue are swapping positions again, as it's not been through Hobbs again, has it? So of course all the speed that Gurney's got down the straight is countered by the fact that he's going to be useless in the corners. Slow corners you don't really need much downforce, but it's the braking points you do. And Inoue's actually just been cheeky. Gurney's missed his apex and he's kicked the tail out. But Gurney sweeps around the outside of Mike Knight corner. And up the inside into the final corner. Inoue's tried it. And Gurney spins off. Or half spins at least. Taki Inoue battles his way through the final turns to get a move on Dan Gurney up into, well, 13th place, but he started 26th, so that's impressive. I mean, also a lot of those positions were in a big crash in the first lap, but we'll skip over that. Felix Acosta has fallen behind Chris Hoy, and it looks like it's been a move by the pair into turn 1. Side by side through Williams, I think they're going to go. No. Great. So, thank you, camera shot. No, Hoy has just swept past through the Williams turn. Felix Acosta now on the slipstream of his teammate. Is he going to make a move into the hairpins? Contact, contact, contact. The DTK is coming to a bit of contact. Felix Acosta gets back through. Keeps the position to Revolver and into Piper. So DTK is squabbling so much that Verstappen is going to pull away. 6/10 now separate the top 3. Oh well, Moss from Heinfeld. It's 1.5 seconds separate the top 3, is what I meant to say. Fangio gets a lot wide on the curb. Hoy is being forced back here into Beloff. That's going to cause him issues. Hamilton is still stuck behind Prost after 20 laps. Schumacher occupying the final point scoring position. Gasher in 20th is the highest rated Polestar driver, as Perez has now lost his front wing and run a bit wide at the... oh, what is that? If David Brabham's done running around that rear wing. What's happened to him? Is he... The Perez has just cut... Oh, Brabham's had another crash at the first corner. So he's exited the pits, he's battling with Rossi, and there's contact, and Brabham is... That's his second rear wing and his third front wing. Oh, David Brabham. When it rains, it pours. And you can't make this up. Flörsch now battling with Rossi for best of the lap downs. Rossi fighting back through Williams, but this is a battle for 26th place. Oh, what is going on back here? It's just tragic to see these super quick drivers this far back struggling. And with bad luck it just compounds and compounds and compounds. And it's the fact that there's been 2 crashes at the first corner thanks to dodgy pit lane exits, and both of them were involved. Hang on a minute, Fangio's got some damage. Fangio's lost his rear wing. Fangio, I think Villeneuve... Oh wait, where's... Oh, Villeneuve has completely lost it under braking. And I think Villeneuve might be out of this race. So he's pile drived into the back of Fangio and bang! Big hit for Villeneuve. Is he going to get that going again, or is that a retirement for the Canadian? Oh no, the brakes were not having that. Oh, that's a big hit. I don't think Villeneuve should be carrying on after a hit like that. Oh no, he's got it going. He's going to try. Well then, that promotes Lewis Hamilton up into 10th. Taki Inoue is going to take 11th. Schumacher tries to get past Villeneuve as Villeneuve goes in the pits. Watson's going to get promotion to the points here. So even more chaos. Even more points thrown away. Even more points that Kas Racing are scoring here. Meanwhile, the top 3, 8/10 between them as they go through Revolver. So it is super close now up front here. Heinfeld and Moss had a massive gap to Vettel at one point. It was about 4 or 5 seconds. It's not that anymore, is it? Vettel has absolutely left Button for dead, his teammate. We now got a few back markers in between third and fourth. And if you just look down in the timing tab, Kobayashi in 19th is starting to climb towards the points. A bit of squeaky bum time. And a bit of unluckiness for Kas. And High-Tech could score some points to keep this title rolling on. 6/10 now covers Vettel to Heidfeld. That's third to first. Moss is in the middle of this somehow. Can he make a move, or is Vettel going to make a move on the red knight? Not into the hairpin this lap. But we have seen that hairpin isn't the only place you can make moves, as Hakkinen gets past Hakkinen and Mansell are squabbling back there for 15th place into turn 1. Heidfeld's just got enough of a gap on through this middle sector on Sterling Moss. Moss power slides out the corner. Now the interesting thing I think for Fangio and Villeneuve is this is probably late enough they can fill in the tanks and just one stop after this. So for those two they might be kind of fuel corrected to the end and have made their first stop. I mean, if they stop like 2 laps from the end, that's going to be a disaster, but I think they might be lucky here, which is about the only thing that they've got going for them. Yeah, helicopter shot here. It's Vettel closer to Moss than Moss is to Heidfeld as they head down back straight. In towards the hairpin. Not going to be moved this lap. Unfortunately for Vettel. Anyway, Button in 4th, Stappen 5th, Felix da Costa has fended off Chris Hoy for the moment, and Stefan Beloff is joining in this fight in 8th place. Prost is 9th, and Prost has decided to drop Hamilton. Why is Hamilton's 1.7 seconds behind? What? Why? I don't even understand why that's happened. In no way is in 11th and not really doing much more. Gurney is 12th place, is ahead of Schumacher. Watson up in the points, and Mansell now 15th. Hakkinen 16th and Hill. Gasho 18th. Kobayashi 19th. So the first corner crash guys are a few places away from the points now. Phil Hill in 20th. Fangio has rejoined in 21st. Senna 22nd. Clark 23rd. And Villeneuve in 24th. The last of the drivers not yet lapped. Perez is a lap down, Rossi is definitely a lap down, Flörsch is a lap down, and Brabham is 2. I mean, yeah, it's not been his day. Moss is really falling back now from Heidfeld. That's the second. As Vettel is super close, but not able to, or not willing to risk a dive bomb to get the place that he, to be honest, richly deserves. But He's got the pace to do it, but Moss is holding him up, which means that Moss deserves to be in second place just as much. We'll have to see, but through Redman and Hobbs, Heidfeld is managing to just pull away the amount he needs to keep his position. Vettel's not been close enough to Moss through there. Which is why he's falling back. Moss gets a bit... He's sliding so much more through the first corner than Vettel is. I wonder if Vettel's close. But he can't make the move. Can't make the move down the back straight. Heading down once more. 1.2 seconds is the gap back from Moss to Heidfeld. Vettel's getting close enough. I mean, he's 2/10 behind. But he just doesn't feel the confidence to absolutely throw it. Beloff and the two DTKs, they're pretty close together still, but as this race is settling, obviously the tyres are starting to go off and they've not quite got the confidence to just launch one up the inside. I mean, the cars will be lighter, yes, but without the grip, they don't really want to risk it, I suppose. Verstappen here is trying to put a lap on Sergio Perez. He's put a lap on David Brabham. Felix da Costa is the next one. He's going to have to try this fun out. We'll ride on board Felix da Costa. And actually, it's Beloff up the inside of Hoy into turn 1. That was awful shoddy camera work. I do apologise. Hoy hasn't really got it lost over the last corner. Beloff has thought about it. Beloff has gone for it. It's got the inside line. It's just got some curb, and I must be frank. That was not good by Beloff. He had the line, he had the position, and then he threw it all away. Inoue is now right on the tail of Hamilton, as Hamilton is dropping away from Prost like nobody's business. I don't know where Hamilton's pace has gone, but it's not travelled well to Japan, put it that way. Inoue is now lining up his teammate, thinking I can get this move done quick, and I'll go and catch up to Prost. I'll go and show you how it's done, because you're not showing me very well. Into the 2 hairpins. Surprisingly, I thought these hairpins would ruin the racing, but they've been really good overtaking spots, and the exit of the Hobbs one is quite tricky. They're all kicking their tails out, especially the tyres starting to go down, and it's as Hamilton runs wide out the final corner. Hamilton runs wide in the last corner, and Inoue slides through. Complete unforced error from the driver second in the championship. He's hit the curb, he's bumped it on the curb, run wide and nearly contact with his teammate. But Inoue is through. So Inoue's now got 3 seconds to make up to get to Alain Prost and get past him. Can he do it, or will Hamilton come back at him and ruin the day? Watson gets super leery out the final corner. Mansell now is up into the final points in 15th. Gasher and Kobayashi getting closer. Rossi trying to unlap himself for Nigel Mansell, and then straight away gets a blue flag and gets out of the way, and it's going to block Hakkinen as well. Well, Gilles Villeneuve in 24th now sits the fastest lap of the race, just because. This Vettel Moss Heidfeld battle has kind of calmed down a bit. Heidfeld's managed to get a gap back on Sterling Moss, and Vettel seems quite content. He's not really made a proper move yet. Which would be why where it is. Kobayashi down in 18th has just got past Bertrand Gachot. Looks like it was into the hairpin. Pulls the inside, does Kobayashi, up the inside of Gachot, nice and simple. Gets the move done now. Fleush is going to turn up and try and unlap herself. I think further, I think Hoy and Beloff had a bit of a tangle as well. Is it, or is it just? I know Hoy has managed to get past Felix da Costa at Redman, but he's been on the outside for Hobbs. So Beloff has then gone through at Hobbs. And Perez gets out the way of them, completely slows down Beloff. And then there's contact between Beloff and Perez, and Hoy goes back through. And then Perez gets some air, and then I don't really know what's just happened after that. But this does mean that Felix da Costa in 6th has got a bit of a gap. Hoy has now got to think about what Beloff is doing, and Perez is getting him Prost's way. Anyway, look, he's already got the gap down to 1.8 seconds, having passed Hamilton. He's got a second on Hamilton, so Lewis's pace has been nowhere. Inoue is the one on the charge, championship leader. Here we go, Schumacher 13th, first driver that I've seen that's got a fuel warning. So pit stop window is approaching pretty soon. Anyone else? Everyone up to 18 has already pitted at least once, so some of these guys will need to pit soon if they made their stop on lap 1 only. Hackman's low, Watson's low, and Schumacher's low. So just the 3 drivers this lap, it would seem. Verstappen's got past Brabham. Vettel, Moss and Heidfeld are still quite happy to keep it going though, for the moment. Riding on board with Sterling Moss in second place. As our attention really needs to be focused on Vettel, who's getting quite light on fuel. He's behind Moss once again. He's hit 190 down that straight before he's had to smash on the brakes for the hairpin. It's a big stop. Inoue's dropped back from Prost once again, and Hamilton is trying to join in the fun. They have just tried to lap Perez, which will have not helped. I will at least give them that, but yeah, there's the one shining light of ray of hope that I will give them, because they've been pretty appalling otherwise. Felix da Costa's like to pit for Hoy. Yes, all of the leaders are starting to get their low fuel warnings. Tell them they go. Vettel is coming in this lap. Hoy is caught back up to Felix da Costa again. So he thinking about a move before the pit window? Not too sure as there's some dust kicked up on the back from the Kas Racing drivers. Over the crest at Williams, you can see from that camera angle how light the cars get. I think Schumacher might have just jumped in the pit lane. He has. So Schumacher first of our drivers from the lead group to make their pit stop. Mika Hakkinen also coming in. Yeah, everyone else coming in. Phil Hill has just been passed by Fangio out of the Hobbs corner. Kobayashi up into the points, although as we said he's going to have to pit pretty soon. Watson's making his starts in Taki Inoue is getting first priority after the Kas drivers. There we go, so Vettel comes in this lap. Heidfeld is coming in this lap. Moss is coming in this lap. Verstappen gets it very loose over the corner. Button's making his stop this lap. Verstappen, not yet. It would seem. Felix is coming in. So both DTKs once again pitting on the same lap. Beloff is making a stop this lap. Prost is coming in. Hamilton's coming in. Vettel exits the pits and gets hit by Perez. But for Vettel's sake, it's Perez who lost the front wing, and Vettel didn't take any damage in that. So lead group should be quite fine now. And Moss has fallen away from Heidfeld, even though Heidfeld's just had to lap someone. So Moss is really bottling this pit window. Who else is still going? So Vettel's in 10th. Inoue is dropped back into 13th place. Actually, Gasher's coming in this lap. Schumacher's dropped behind Fangio, so that's a battle that could be to the end, actually. Oh my goodness, there's been a crash entering the pits. There's been an enormous crash entering the pits. What has happened here? What has happened here? Heidfeld coming into the pit lane from the lead. Alpha coming in, he's run wide and stopped. Moss has piled into the back of Nick Heidfeld in the pit lane. Jenson Button, what's he going to do now? Button! Oh, he joins in the fun. I say fun, it's not that fun. Button, he can't push through. Felix da Costa smacks him, pushes the Red Knight out the way. We have what has just transpired in front of us. Heidfeld is out the race. Moss must be out the race. Button's got going. Hamilton's got through. Prost has got through. As Verstappen's lost it. It's the gravel. Verstappen's in the wall now. We have just lost about 4 cars in half a lap. Verstappen through the Moss S's. He's just lost it under braking. And that's scraped through the gravel and into the wall. So Sebastian Vettel is going to take the lead out of absolutely nowhere. Dan Gurney's in third, but he's about to pit. Chris Hoy is going to exit the pits in a net second place, having jumped everybody. Beloff gets up to fifth. Prost is now sixth. Hamilton has managed to jump Inoue in all of this, as Felix da Costa is 3 wide with Kobayashi and Rossi. Hill's going to pit. Button exits in 12th, having lost so much time there. Senna's got going then. Fangio, Schumacher, Villeneuve, Watson, Mansell, Gasho. Sterling Moss is out the race. Hakkinen still going. Heidfeld's out the race. Clark's coming in without a front wing because he's... Where did Clark lose his front wing? That's completely unrelated. Well, are we going to get some replays of that pit lane chaos again? Because I've never seen anything like that before. What has happened? So I just want to see what's happened to Clark. Oh, there's a Flörsch is driving around that front all rear wing as well. This has been an absolute demolition derby for everyone, pretty much. So Flörsch is just trying to get out of everyone's way to be blue flagged. And then that mess has happened. I think we'll ride on board with Heidfeld as we get into this, see how this happened for him. So Heidfeld's tried to carry a lot of speed and he's run a bit wide. So Flörsch is trying to get in. Heidfeld's just run it wide himself. He's lost it. Moss has then come in and Heidfeld's just stopped in the middle of the track. Moss is then caught up and just hits the back. There isn't much he can do. Button then joins in. He sees it too late and he crashes in. Then you have to find Felix da Costa, who was the next driver in that lap. Verstappen was lucky that he carried on, but then he crashed later. He just no nonsense. He sees this. There's nothing much he can do. Puts his foot down and tries to just battering ram his way through the chaos. Hoy is seeing this, slows right down, has to hit the rear wing out the way and front wing of his teammate, but he gets through all fine. Beloff also joins in and is quite happy that the space has already been cleared for him. Prost also joins in. Hamilton, I mean, they're all just clearing a path here for Kas Racing. There's actually no, with Heidfeld out, High-Tech cannot score 21 points. Rossi and Clark, they're not scoring points. I mean, I'm not quite going to call it, because Polestar and Sigapov are still in, and having watched this race, this isn't over. Anything could happen still in this race. It's not over in any sense of the word. But Kas Racing should, as Hamilton now, having done everything to get ahead of Inoue in that pit stop window, even having to slot his way through all the chaos, has made his second mistake at the last corner. and run wide. Yeah, through the final corner. What's he done? Oh, he's had a twitch mid-turn. Run it onto the dirt. I mean, he's lucky he's still going, really. But this costs in it. Kobayashi finally comes into the pit, so yeah, he's getting the points, but he's not going to score enough. So one of the high techs is gone. Really, if one of the Polestars and one of the Polestars and one of the Siggy Pops definitely retires, that's when I can call this championship over mid-race, but that hasn't happened yet. So, through all this chaos, Dan Gurney's about to make his pit stop, which is going to drop him out of second, which is going to leave Sebastian Vettel with a 20-second lead over Chris Hoy in second place. He's got a further second and a half to Stefan Beloff in what will become third, depending on where Gurney pops out. Inoue is up to fifth, net third, and has now got past Prost. So it's taken a really dodgy pit lane for this to happen. But Inoue sits behind Prost, pushes him wide, and then gets him on the inside of the hairpin. So didn't quite go for the absolute send up the inside. Hamilton is now in seventh, having done his best to throw as many points as he possibly can away. Felix Costa's in eighth. Fangio ninth, although I think he is on strategies now, so ninth is where his actual position will be. Button 10th, Schumacher up to 11th, so quite impressive from the Bangalore driver. You'll have Watson 13th, and then Mansell and Kobayashi battling for the final point. Atkins close in 16th as Gasho is catching up to the points. Hill in 18th, Senna in 19th, the other Hill, Phil, in 20th, Jim Clark 21st. Rossi's rolled and has still had a less eventful race than a load of other drivers who were out. It's just... wow. Perez is getting blue flagged, Bradman is in 24th, and Sophia Flörsch is 2 laps down, last remaining driver. Bradman and Flörsch have been going through front and rear wings like nobody's business. I don't know how the team have enough left. Verstappen crashed out, Moss and Heidfeld crashed in the pit lane from first and second. You couldn't make it up. I mean, that was just... like, we've seen some stupid stuff in RaceDepartment simulated games in the past, but that takes the biscuit. It really does. As Taki Inoue now has been released up the inside of Beloff to take third place at the first corner. Beloff doesn't even fight it. Inoue up to third. So from 26th on the grid, it's taken 36 laps for Inoue to get on the podium. I think the win is only Squeaky Bum Time taking Vettel out, or a back marker, which we'll call Squeaky Bum Time. It's the only thing stopping Inoue from winning the race, really. He's not catching up to Vettel, even if it's clear to the end for both of them. Hamilton is now, there's 3 cars between Inoue and, or 2 cars between Hamilton and Inoue, and we've seen how Hamilton is averse to overtaking anything that moves. And the Constructors 7, that's still going to be his best finish of the year if he can keep it there. Gurney's 9th, which is a stunning result if he can keep there. Bottom has dropped down to 10th, although having seen the mess that he just escaped, he is lucky to still be going. As Inoue makes it 2 overtakes in a row at the first corner, a little bump from Hoy. Inoue is up to second, he's got 24 seconds to catch up to Vettel. I mean, championship leader probably could do that, but I doubt he will. He's already streaked off. There's a second gap he's already got 3 corners later, so new set of tyres, new purpose in life, and Inoue is just disappearing. He knows what he needs to do, and he's doing it. Perez looks past Damon Hill. into the first corner. We just look through some of the back markers again. Mansell and Hakkinen now battling for the last point. It stands Kobayashi has disappeared off into the distance. It's 4 seconds ahead of them in the car that, well, the same car that was leading the race until it crashed in the pit lane. Kobayashi must be rooting that crash on the first lap because he's got the pace. The car has got the pace. It's now John Watson here challenging Gilles Villeneuve for 12th place. It's high downforce as Watson up the inside of Villeneuve, and Schumacher's had a go at Button as well. Button keeps the position through Mike Knight though, as does Villeneuve. But the two, I'm sorry to say this, backmarker cars of the 2KF1 and the Bangalore suddenly find themselves battling some midfield slash front runners. I'm there actually putting them under some decent pressure and overtaking in some really odd places. So go for it, Michael and John. You know, have some fun, get some points. Teams at the back of the grid not scored many points. This is your chance. Go for it. You know, Bangalore are the two sitting at the bottom of the table on 12 and 6 points respectively. Go and score some points. You know, Jules GP are only 4 points ahead of Bangalore, and neither of them are in the points. Schumacher now actually being passed here by Villeneuve into Revolver, but Schumacher sends him into the outside line. And Villeneuve falls away. Villeneuve now having to defending from John Watson, because he's seen what Watson did into Hobbs' last lap, as he just sends Villeneuve wide. Watson, what a move up the inside of Hobbs. Scares Villeneuve, but Villeneuve's got the power to just keep it going. Gets it into the apex. And Villeneuve keeps the position ahead of Watson. You can see Watson can smell more points than he wants them. He really does. Schumacher flying up behind Button. What can he do? Incidentally, up front, Hoy was 20 seconds behind Vettel before Gurney pit stopped. Now that Inoue is through, Inoue is 23 behind Vettel and Hoy is already 27 behind Vettel. So it's 4 seconds that Hoy has lost to Inoue since the pass. And Beloff is right with him. Hamilton can't get past Prost. Yeah, Hamilton is still staring at the back of Alain Prost's car. And he's got it wrong on the exit curve again. He's now the lapped car of Valentino Rossi has gone through. So last corner is not Lewis Hamilton's favourite turn on this circuit. I can pretty much guarantee that. He has had torrid time through there. That's Felix da Costa has just lost a place to Fangio into the first turn. He's lost a load of time. He's popped up in the air through the final corner. That's enough for Fangio to quite easily take the position down the straight. Oh, that's not what you want to see. Fangio on the slipstream. He's got the momentum, he's just going to scare Felix da Costa out the way. I think it's Senna and Hill are right with each other, but Perez is trying to lap himself or get himself unlapped or something in the middle of all this. Who knows? The slipstream from Gasher is probably the only thing keeping Hill ahead of Senna for the moment. Senna is going to try it into turn 1. It's a bit loose. Oh, and he has to back out of it, but Hill lets him have the place. Round the outside goes Ayrton Senna. So Senna up to 18th, although Hill's got the slipstream down through the Moss S's. Atwood's a big braking point, it's a nice big bank curve. Really want all the power through. So Gilles Villeneuve has finally got past Michael Schumacher and left him. So Button and Villeneuve will probably streak ahead of these two now and pull a gap. Felix da Costa's dropped behind Dan Gurney now. Oh, I thought it was going to be an overtake down the straight, but no. This is the move in the middle of the lap, so is it through Piper? Oh no, Gurney's either got him through Redman or into Hobbs. Felix doesn't seem to have done anything wrong at this point. Gurney's just sent at the inside of Hobbs. And Felix has been completely bolted through there. Surprised out of absolutely nothing. Dan Gurney makes a position, so Felix Costa's lost 2 places in 1 lap there. Hamilton now trying to lap Rossi again, having let him through at the final corner last lap. Rossi's like, come on mate, I got past you because you did something stupid, why do I have to get out of your way? All of this is allowing Prost to get 3 seconds away in the distance. So that is one of the more costly things. He's not even got past Rossi very cleanly. This battle for the last podium slot is intense between Beloff and Hoy. Beloff clearly's got more pace because Hoy doesn't seem to be showing any kind of pace. So how long can the DTK driver hold up the Bravera? Answer, probably not long. Beloff up the inside of Redman gets the move done quite quickly. So Hoy getting past quite easily. Right on board here with Beloff. Oh, look at the run he's got. Hoy's had an awful exit out of Piper. And Beloff's just gone, well, hello there. I'll take that position if you don't want it. Yeah, Hoy's not even fought it. He's gone, no, just take it. Just take it, you're quicker. I'll try and slipstream train past you. Fangio and Gurney now through Hobbs are closed up. The Dan Gurney at Excelsior is looking pacey, he's rapid. Trying to make some positions up. Now he's got here through a lot of luck with drivers crashing in front of him. But he's showing the pace so that, you know, Excelsior, we deserve to be up here. And we can fight. Button has been passed there by Villeneuve into the first corner, as I think it's Rossi is, pardon me the hiccups, Rossi has just pitted and will exit the pits and instantly into some blue flags, so let's hope the Senna and Mansell don't hit him. Oh, that was tetchy. Not what you're wanting to see. Oh, Rossi, what are you doing? So Gasher and Phil Hill are trying to go side by side here, full position. Valentino Rossi also trying to get out of the way. Gasher's the contact and Phil Hill goes through. Then Hill turns up and the race leaders in this mess as well. That way. So Vettel is trying to get through all these lapped cars. They're all trying to battle and still lap another driver. Brabham's going to go up the inside of Vettel and lap himself. Vettel's pushed wide by some back boxes. So Vettel's trying to lap Perez. He's trying to lap Brabham. Brabham's trying to be lapped by both of them at different times. Rossi's also trying to get lapped, but is battling Brabham for position as Vettel's trying to lap him. I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, it's not great for the race leader to be stuck in the middle of it. Because look, it's lost 4 seconds to Inoue pretty much within this lap, and we'll see lap times as we go across the line. But Vettel now trying to put a lap on Rossi. Rossi does get out of the way, but very poorly. Yeah, an 18.7. That is 2-3 seconds off his best laps. 3 seconds is the gap between Hamilton and Prost. Gurney is still keeping Fangio honest. Villeneuve now he's got past Button, he's catch up towards Felix. As Schumacher and Watson are keeping Button honest. Co-reaction point is Hackner has dropped Senna. Mansell now drops behind Phil Hill as Hill gets close to the points for Excelsior. Gasher's now got a blue flag for the race leader as Damon Hill's trying to lap Valentino Rossi, which he does so. Perez is now trying to get a blue flag for, I think that's the Jaws, but then he's got to be careful that Rossi doesn't go through at the same time. This is actually a three-way battle for 22nd there, as Flörsch isn't too far behind either. So if you're able to keep up with what I was saying and know what's happening in this race order, well done, because I said all of that on instinct rather than it actually happening. Dan Gurney's having a look here at Fangio as I need to go further back because Schumacher and Watson both got past Jensen Button. Gurney and Fangio haven't made the move yet, so here we go. Was it into turn 1? Has Button made a mistake at the final corner? We'll just see. No, he hasn't. So Schumacher's right in the slipstream here for the Bangalore. And he outbrakes Button into turn 1. Fair enough. Button gets caught on the exit. And Watson's going to sweep around the outside of Williams. It's impressive. So Schumacher's got the inside. He's got a bit of a slide. He gets contact from Button. That holds Button up. He can't go far wide as he wants to because Watson's got his nose in there. Great driving for these backmarker teams. Get themselves up past the 6th place team in the championship. Fangio needs to watch out for Gurney, especially getting to Hobbs. Actually, they've caught up to Lewis Hamilton. What is Hamilton doing? Because it's not good. His pace is just disappearing. He's 5 seconds back from Prost now. And there's been no backmarker traffic at all. I don't even know why this has been happening. Hamilton's just having an off day. Actually, Fangio catching up to Hamilton is more interesting than Gurney behind Fangio, because this one could actually A, happen, and B, matter. Chris Hoy is catching back up to Beloff, it seems, from back for 3rd. Fangio, can he make anything happen? And the back here, Hamilton. Not this lap, at least into the hairpin. As they head back through Piper Turn into Redmond. Redmond and Hobbs, this has been the favourite overtaking spot for a bunch of drivers. Gurney none the least. So can he make a move happen this time? Doesn't seem to be yet. But Hamilton's getting it wrong through the final corner again. I mean, I can only assume that Hamilton's tried to do something ridiculous through the final corner, lost time there, and that's why he's so far back. That's the only thing I can think of. He's been fine otherwise. Fangio's chasing, but it's Gurney right in the back of Fangio now. Gurney, of course, with his super slick wings. This is his chance. He needs to outbrake Fangio into the hairpin, and he's done it. He's done it. So Gurney up to 7th. He could challenge Lewis Hamilton very easily down the next straights. Hamilton's actually having to pit this lap. His problem is so bad. He's going to have to make an extra pit stop because this is too early to make it to the end. So as Michael Schumacher's out the race. Michael Schumacher has retired from the race. He's stuck in the wall. That doesn't... I don't know if it's an engine failure. I don't see any smoke. Has there been contact? No. No, it's no. Oh no, that does sound like an engine. Yes, it's a big engine failure. So Schumacher, who'd been a little star, was on for a very good points finish. He was actually in 11th place when it blew up. Oh, how tragic for Schumacher. Schumacher's out. That puts Clark into 20th. And promotes Ayrton Senna into the points now. Button down in 13th. Kobayashi's gone, so Button's having a tragic time after running. He was running in 4th before the pit stops. It's all gone wrong. It's all gone wrong after that absolute chaos down at the pit lane entry that removed Heidfeld and Moss from this race. So Hamilton, having made his start, he rejoins in 14th, just ahead of Senna. So luckily he's ahead of the Falcon, who's stayed at the back of the Falcon too many times today. He's ahead of the other one. That's lucky for him. Häkkinen's a long way up the road though, 3.5 seconds. Should catch up him pretty quickly, but oh, Button gets it really loose on the brakes there. Kobayashi now challenging John Watson, who's in the top 10 for 2KF1. That really would be a spectacular finishing position for Watson if he can get there. Felix DaCosta's 9th place is kind of a bit no man's landy. Fangio is that line gun who's now been released. Can he catch up to Prost, who's in 5th place? There's Chris Hoy and Stefan Bellof. Belloff's going to have to pit this lap. So something's happened to Bellof and he's decided to pit. So Hoy has actually repaid the favour into Redman. Gets up the inside and streaks away as they headed into Hobbs. Through Mike Knight. Bellof is going to get a run through the final corner, I reckon. Must have done. Bellof pulls to the inside, thinks about moving to turn 1. He gets ahead at the apex, but has to run a bit wide. And yeah, Bellof has got the phantom pit stop warning as well. Lap 48 out of 82. I don't think he's going to make it to the end, unfortunately. So Bellof, like Hamilton, had to make a phantom pit stop. There were a few drivers last race at Donington Park who had to deal with a phantom pit stop. And Bellof and Jenson Button as well. The phantom pit stop, removing a few drivers. I mean, perhaps that's what Michael Schumacher needed. He should have had a phantom pit stop so he didn't have his engine blow up. But who really knows? There you go. Gasher's about to lap Rossi for, that's for position basically. So Rossi's nearly a lap behind the car that he's next behind. Yeah, Gasho and Clark, the highest of the two drivers who could, the two teams who could stop Kas winning the title here. As Damon Hill makes it George GP too wide through the outward corner. Down the back straight, it's Hill versus Mansell. Hill slots in behind Mansell, gets a bit of a tow, pulls to the inside. Rossi trying to unlap himself in there. Jim Clark trying to overtake in all of this. Rossi holds his teammate up and Mansell keeps the position in the just mess that was. Rossi unlaps himself and Damon Hill. There's contact as Jim Clark gets through. So Button makes his phantom pit stop. Bellof has rejoined 11th after his. Häkkinen's up to 12th in all this. John Watson now back into 10th as Kobayashi's 9th and challenging Felix DaCosta for 8th. Fangio and Dan Gurney up into 5th. Prost is now 4th and Chris Hoy is quite comfortably alone in 3rd place, but he's 37 seconds off the lead. Remember, it's 22 seconds off Taki Nui, who overtook him at the beginning of this stint. So Nui has been absolutely released. And 16 seconds to Vettel, I was about to say, bit of backmark on competence and Vettel could lose a load of time, but I've just seen the absolute hell that Inouye is about to deal with. Perez, Flourish, Gasho, just the mess we're focusing on previously. Yeah, Taki, that 16 seconds is about to become a lot bigger. You need to get lucky and have a pit stop, mate, because hope there's enough time to get in stops and get to the end of the race. Flourish now thinking about getting out of the way or getting past Gasho, I don't quite know. They're both trying to get out of the way for Taki. Although parking in the middle of the track is not the way to do it. The inside of Hobbs. You know he's able to get one. Is he going to get the second one? Gasher does get out of the way. Quite handily as Perez tries to join that. But yeah, in a way you've got a horrible time ahead of you. A little bit of time to catch up to Damon Hill, so he should be happy for the moment. Chris Hoy's got a lot of clear space before he's going to have to deal with this hideousness. Prost is the next driver to fall victim of the phantom pit stop. Prost is going to have to pit now. As now Kobayashi's got past Felix da Costa, who's under pressure from John Watson. Hamilton in 12th place is kind of no man's land, but he has got past Hakkinen. Gasho's also going to have to phantom pit stop it. As Chris Hoy is the next driver to suddenly need to stop again. I mean, 51, about 30 laps to go. I didn't really notice what laps everyone was pitting on, so whether he can make it to the end, I'm not sure. This is going to put Dan Gurney up in the 3rd place. A 3rd place for Excelsior, that would be an absolutely stunning result. If they can keep that going. As both DTKs having to come in this lap, so I don't know. Maybe it is. They can't be. They can't make it to the end on all this. And I mean, it's not like they're going for free air, because Chris Hoy has the freest air of everyone. So Hoy comes into the pit for no apparent reason. Dan Gurney is now going to go into 3rd place. Fangio takes 4th. And luckily for these first two in Vettel and Inoue, they're not having to take these phantom pit stops that might or might not work. I meant to go with that camera and I flicked straight past it. So Villeneuve's now up into 5th. Kobayashi's up into 6th, so could the Constructors touch? No, it can't be. High-Tech can't score enough points with Heidfeld out. They need both cars at the finish. Watson is in 7th somehow. Beloff, Hamilton, Hoy. The Hoy's dropped behind Beloff and Hamilton. Sorry, Hoy's dropped behind Beloff and Hamilton. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I don't know. Mika Hakkinen is in between them. Prost is now in 12th. After all this, just ahead of his teammate. Chris Hoy is going to get past Mika Hakkinen at the first available opportunity, which he does. Felix da Costa's dropped back in 15th and is now a lap down, just ahead of Jenson Button. I don't even know what's happening in this race anymore. It's just been an absolute mess. And that's why it's one of the best races I've seen in a long time. It's just what you think's going to happen doesn't happen. And then when you think nothing's going to happen, something does. And I know there's been a pass back here by Hill on Mansell, so the Jaws GP cars are swapped again. Gasher, after his phantom pit stop, didn't lose any positions because he was so far ahead of Rossi. He was about to get lapped by his teammate. David Brabham's now going to make a pit stop for fuel, but he's had so many crashes that I don't even know what sequence he's going to be on. And his battle over 22nd place, 2 laps down. It looks quite intense, but I mean, I was going to say they're going to need insurmountable squeaky bum time to get points, but with this race, anything can happen. Fangio's starting to get light on fuel now. Of course, he and Villeneuve had their crash quite early on at Atwood, and I said they might be able to one-stop it to the end, so I think these two, when they make their stop, will be going to the end. I think these phantom pit stop drivers aren't going to be able to make it to the end. Someone like Hoy and Felix da Costa and Gasher right at the end might be able to make it, especially if they get lapped. But Also, I think they pitted too early. Hamilton, I think, has definitely got to stop again. But I just don't know. So Inoue is up 24 places. Vettel's up 1. Inoue 24. Gurney 17. Fangio making his stop is up 6 places. Villeneuve is up 1. Kobayashi is up 11. And that's despite the fact he crashed on the first lap and had to pit. He's definitely going to stop again. Watson's up 14 into 7th place for 2KF1. Beloff is back to where he qualified after his phantom pit stop. Hamilton's up from the last on the grid to 9th. Hoyer's up 3, but he's phantom pit stopped his way to there. Prost is up 5. Senna up 17. Hackman's lost another place, but he's still up 10. Phil Hill is where he started. Felix Da Costa's about to be overtaken by Jenson Button. So Button's down 10, Da Costa's down 7. Clark's down 10 after his crash on the first lap. Hill up 7. Matt Soul's big contact out the pits as Villeneuve gets involved as well. And that is Bertrand Gachot, so Polestar getting another front wing destroyed in this race. I don't know how many front wings Polestar have got left. Is there enough pink paint for all this damage? Oh, just... On the day when they could have kept the Constructors title going, they just haven't. Rossi's rolled in his 21st, he's now battling his teammate to be a lap down. I don't even know anymore what's going on. As there's been some cars exiting the pits, luckily not hitting each other. The 113 is about to be lapped. Gilles Villeneuve in 4th is going to make his pit stop in a bit. So Vettel's got Hill and Fangio battling the position behind him in 13th, one of which is fueled to the end, hopefully, one of which probably isn't. Inoue's got 15 seconds to the lead. Gurney is 45 seconds off the lead, but he's miles ahead of Gilles Villeneuve in 4th, who's about to get out of his way anyway. Kobayashi's got 8 seconds to catch up to Dan Gurney, but there's some back markers in the way. John Watson's in 6th because he's got Beloff and Hamilton right behind him now, which is probably about to go 5th now with the pit stop for Villeneuve. Here we go, Hamilton brings the inside of Beloff to get him at the inside of turn 1. Makes the move stick, kicks the tail out. Beloff's got an inside line for Williams, but Hamilton's found, like most people, the outside line for Williams works really well. So Hamilton out to 6th place, he's chasing down John Watson for 5th place. 2KF1 back up to the front where the team would have hoped to have been so long ago, but they just haven't. Had the power at the beginning of the season, had the rub of the green, really unlucky moments, completely off the pace. It's now working out for them so far. Kobayashi's trying to lap Mansell, and I think that is the hobbled Gachot. Kobayashi's, no, it's David Brabham. I mean, Brabham's probably missing a front wing. I mean, he spent more time without a front wing than with. Vettel now trying to lap Hackman in 11th. This just shows how he's been. It's actually Fangio's just unlapped himself because Hackman's holding Vettel up so much. This is not helping Vettel as he's trying to deal with Hackman. There's almost contact between Hackman and Fangio. Hackman's trying to let Leader through, and he just lets. I don't know. Hackman's just spunked away 3 corners and 3 positions in 1 corner. Why he did that, we'll never know. Watson now having to really defend from Hamilton as we get down the back straight. There's so much more power in the Kas. This will be easy. And it is. Watson slots in behind Hamilton. Beloff, yeah, he's not able to get through. Chris Hoy's coming in to join in the fun. They go Hill up to 12th after all that. As Phil Hill and the race leader are between Fangio and Villeneuve, who pitted pretty much a lap apart from each other. Hakkinen down to 14th and Button now 15th. Felix da Costa's great race finish looks to have disappeared with all this, and Clark is now close to scoring points again. And that's laps David Brabham, who's rally crossing out there. Just give up, David. Seriously, it's not worth it. Flörsch gets past Perez for 22nd place. Phil Hill down the straights in 12th place. Villeneuve is trying to stay with him, but it doesn't appear to be like it's going to work so far, especially with the straight line speed of the Excelsior, keeping him ahead. Yeah, so before the braking point, Phil Hill is doing 187. Gilles Villeneuve, oh, I don't have a speedo. Oh, the cockpit will tell me. So 187 was what the Excelsior was doing without a tow. With a tow from it, Villeneuve, I got to 189 temporarily, but you know, that's not really going to help, as Chris Hoy is past John Watson now. So what's happened to Watson? Oh, because Beloff has got past him somewhere. And now the quick cars have finally caught up and passed Watson, because I mean, he is a backmarker completely out of position thanks to chaos and mess and phantom pit stops affecting everybody else. Vettel has been stuck in hell trying to get past all these backmarkers, which is allowing Inoue to catch up. He's got to hope that after the pit stops, Inoue is also screwed over by a million backmarkers if he wants to stop and catching up. I mean, look at the gaps at the front are enormous. It's 12 seconds to Vettel and Inoue, and it's 32 back to Dan Gurney in third place, another 8 to Kobayashi. So, yeah, the battle up front is kind of, that's not really a thing anymore. Hoy's now at 7th, so the phantom pit stoppers are now sat 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th, 15th and 16th, and also Beloff, but actually what was Beloff? Not Beloff, sorry, Gasho into 21st. They're not really a thing to worry about anymore. Vettel has finally got past this absolute train of pain. His back markers just ruining everything for him. But he's put laps on everything, everybody up to 11th now is lapped. It's going to take them a while to get back to find them, because Phil Hill and Gilles Villeneuve have both got past Fangio at Hobbs corner, so Hill send out the inside of Fangio, force him out wide. Fangio gets a bit of a lift as he went to the Mike Knight corner. Hakkinen's going to watch this pack and think, right, can I score any extra points when they get it wrong? That's what he's got to hope for. But no indication yet of anybody wanting to come into the pits. Now, because it's lap 61 and nobody's really coming in, if the guys have only pitted once, that means they've done at least 30 laps on a tank. So lap 52 is about when Chris Hoy and Felix da Costa pitted. So perhaps those phantom pit stop guys will make it to the end, or we'll have to pit on like the last lap. Could be possible, because look, Vettel isn't pitting yet. They're not even getting low fuel warnings. So maybe it was just a worthy alternate strategy for the two-stop. We'll see. I mean, they're trying to avoid risking running out of fuel, which is fair enough, because it's happened enough times. As we've got a yellow flag for the car in 21st, it's Valentino Rossi is out the race. Looks a bit smoky, so let's have a look at the engine. Yeah, the engine's blown up. Obviously, it would seem that, when you roll a car, it does some damage to the engine that will come back and bite you later. Who'd have thunk it? Well, apparently not Rossi, because he's out. That's going to promote absolutely nobody. So Hamilton is now starting to pull away from Beloff and Hoy. There's only Mika Hakkinen as the first driver who's looking like he's going to come into the pits. So yes, I wouldn't count Hamilton, Beloff or Hoy off for a podium here. They could still get past Gurney and Kobayashi. And they pit themselves. I still think the DTKs who came in last have got the best chance of getting to the end. Some like Button or Hamilton who stopped very early, they might not have the fuel to get to the end. I'm slightly worried for them. But anyway, we'll see. Because it's still only Mika Hakkinen who's got the fuel warning. All 23 cars left. Yes, it is. So Vettel's now got 11 seconds back to Inoue, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 back markers between Vettel and Inoue. But with the pit window coming up, who knows who's going to get screwed over or not? Because Inoue might go jump in the pits before he catches up to any of these and get stuck in a load of free air. I'm sure he'd like that to happen. Yeah, this is the train of pain. Fangio's definitely going to the end. Hill isn't. Hakkinen is coming in this lap. I can feel it's Costa and Clark hoping to go a bit further. Last person Bram, not really anything to do with. So, here we go. This is where it's going to get exciting. So, Vettel. Fuel's starting to get a bit low. He'll be coming in pretty soon. Inoue as well. His fuel's starting to go down. Gurney pitted quite late last time, so he should be fine for the moment. Watson's looking a bit light on fuel. As that was Hakkinen makes his way into the pits. There's Watson, so the 2KF1's running a bit lighter on fuel than everybody else. Vettel is pitting this lap, as is Taki Inoue, so the top two pitting at the same time. It's all going to matter as to who ends up in the traffic then. If Vettel ends up in a load of traffic and Inoue's got free air, that's going to help Inoue. If Vettel ends up ahead of traffic and Inoue's in it, well, I mean, you can work that out. Hakkinen gets out the pits without taking any damage. I mean, that's another thing to worry about, is that drivers have been coming out the pits and crashing into other drivers, so that could still derail it for Vettel or Inoue or any of the other guys who've still got to pit. So we'll just follow the race leaders into the pits. Hopefully he's not going to do something stupid like Heidfeld did. Bit wide to the Mike Knight pit entry. Get to the last corner. Vettel makes it into the pit lane. Taki Inoue sensible first half. Second half runs a bit wide, but not as wide as Heidfeld did. So they're comfortably into the pits. Watson's in this lap. Here we go. So actually Inoue is right behind Vettel, but that's because Vettel's made a stop and Inoue hasn't. Vettel exits the pit. Beautiful clear track in front and behind him. Inoue's going to exit the pits. Damon Hill and Sergio Perez and Mika Hakkinen have all gone through. So he's definitely got to lap Mika Hakkinen. So 10 seconds Inoue's got, but he's got some lap traffic to deal with. Dan Gurney's still going. Kobayashi's made his pit stop, or made his pit stops a bit out of sequence because he had the crash in the first lap. Here we go, Kobayashi's fuel's getting a bit light, so there's just the back marker up ahead and Sophia Flush to navigate. She's made it round turn 1, Kobayashi's not there, so he's good. Hamilton, Beloff, Hoy are fine, Prost is also fine in 8th, as Watson makes it into the pits as he clips the wall as he's pushing so hard through there. Phil Hill's going to pit soon. Watson's in his stop. Jim Clark's goes through. Pressure's going to have to pit as well. So yeah, so it's Kobayashi's next driver to pit. Dan Jones looking quite happy in third. Doesn't need to make his stop at all. Vettel has found that John Watson has exited the pits right in front of him. Moss S's are not the nicest piece of track to deal with back markers because they do want to get in your way. They try and get out of your way, but then they're forced to get in your way unless they stick the brakes on, which they don't want to do. So Inouye's catching Perez and Damon Hill. He's then got Hakkinen and Watson, 2 2KF1s in between him and Sebastian Vettel. Gurney hasn't even got a fuel warning, so he's fine so far. Kobayashi is going to make his stop this lap. So he'll probably drop behind Hamilton, Beloff and Hoy. Prost, I don't know really. Well, Gurney and Prost might be close. Gurney's probably going to be close to Senna, although Senna's about to make his stop as well. Villeneuve's got past Banjo. Villeneuve's fine. Phil Hill's making his stop this lap. Button up to 13th, Phoenix to Costa 14th. Clark loses out to Watson, so Watson gets back in the points. It's Mika Hakkinen who's also going to pass Jim Clark, so Clark back out the points. Damon Hill is going to appear. Is he going to hit the back of Clark? No, he's going to be sensible about it. But that is not what Inouye needed. Another driver who's made his pit stop in between him and the race leader. Felix da Costa as they go into Piper, stuck behind Button, who's stuck behind Phil Hill, who's about to make his stop. Senna not yet. Gurney still not yet. Gurney's quite happy to keep trucking along. Prost has got past Kobayashi because Kobayashi's made his stop, of course. Actually, Senna and Villeneuve through. That's his Fangio. This is going to be a battle with Jensen Button for Kobayashi. Actually, it's Mansell who's a lap down, so Mansell appears between Kobayashi and Button. That's going to help Kamui, he's also got fresher tyres. Phil Hill makes his stop. Senna's coming in this lap now. Sebastian Vettel, a 15-1. Clear air that he's not had for so long. He finally gets it. And he's set fast as that, but I think he's off. Sebastian Vettel's off at turn 1. Vettel, massive accident there, just after setting the fastest lap. It's not fuel. He's just dropped it on his own, so 15-1 Vettel does. As he gets to turn 1, he's just missed the brakes, have given up, and that is an enormous hit for the Harvey Racing driver. Sebastian Vettel looking for a superb result. A fantastic win was on the cards. Now Inouye hits Hill and slides in the yellow flag zone as he inherits the lead from Vettel. So Taki Inouye from 26th on the grid is now looking to win the race on lap 68. On lap 69 even, lol. Dan Gurney up into second, although he's about to make a pit stop as Vettel. What a disaster. Hamilton now goes into third, so it's got a double podium on the line for Kas Racing. Again, they just have all the luck. They might have started at the back of the grid, but this is ridiculous. What can be done to stop Kas Racing? Because it's squeaky bum time has taken Vettel out here. his brakes have been squeaky bummed, and he will have squeaked a lot out of his bum as his brakes failed into turn 1, put it that way. That is not a place for your brakes to not do anything. So Nui now has a 13-second lead over a driver that's going to make a pit stop pretty soon. And then it's his teammate. So after Gurney's pit stop, this could be a Kas Racing 1-2. Again. Kas have basically now got 2 chances to screw this up. And they're going to win this race. Oh, how the cookie crumbles. When it's your championship, it's your championship. And Kas are... I mean, they're not exactly making it look easy, but... everything's happening to everybody else. Yeah, right, well, so... if both Kas's retire, is there any chance... Oh, okay, High Tech, they've got 1 driver out. They're out of the Constructors Championship race. The nearest challenger is Jim Clark in 16th, not even in the points. David Brabham is in 22nd. Well, actually, yeah, Rossi. So, Polestar now are the only team that can stop Kas Racing winning the title. For that, they need Inoue and Hamilton to blow up and exit this race now, and Gasho and Brabham to have an absolute worldie and finish. Well, they need 30 points. So that's what, 1st and about 5th. That's not happening, is it? It really isn't happening, especially as there is a load of smoke coming from the back of Bertrand Gasho's car as he went down the straight there. I think Gasho's, unless he pulled into the pits, is about to blow up. This does not look promising for the Polestar driver. If this goes bang, it's game over. Staring at an ever-increasing thing of smoke for Gasho. And I don't think there's going to be anything happen there. So Gurney has made his pit stop and ended up in 7th. Stefan Beloff is up into 3rd with Hamilton 2nd. Takino is down to a 14.9. So he's just flexing on everyone now. Gasho is staring as the smoke is getting thicker and thicker every time he sends it down a straight. That engine has not got much longer in its life. Tanks are nearly empty. The oil's burning off. And Polestar's challenge, like pretty much everybody else's challenge from, well, the French Grand Prix onwards, the onslaught to stop Ziggy Pops hasn't worked. There's a yellow flag somewhere that's not for Gasho. Not for Nue. Who's gone off? Has someone gone off? I don't know. Huh. Maybe somebody just went white at the final corner. I don't know how Gasho's still going. That is looking terminal. Oh well, when we hear there's another yellow flag, we'll see a dot stop to the map. It's probably Gasho. I mean, look at that. Look at that down the straight. It's stupid. Well, let's have a look at the order at the end as we're on lap 73. So, Taki Inoue leads the way. Kas Racing from 26th on the grid. Lewis Hamilton is in 2nd from 28th on the grid. And Stefan Beloff is 3rd from 8th on the grid. Chris Hoy up to 4th from 13th. Alain Prost is 5th from 16th. Gilles Villeneuve 6th, where he started. Dangoni is 7th from 20th. Kobayashi is up to 8th. And Fangio is up to 9th. Button is down to 10th. Felix da Costa down to 11th. Senna's 12th. Watson 13th. Hakkinen 14th. And Phil Hill in 15th place. And you've got Clark and Damon Hill, Nigel Mansell. Bertrand Gachot has finally decided that engine has had enough. And with that, I can officially announce that your Global Formula Automobilista Season 2 Constructors Champions, because nobody can beat them now, is Kas Racing. The Irish team joined midway through last season, midway through Donington Park. Congratulations, you are Constructors Champions. Doesn't even matter where you finish now, you could both squeaky bum time out this race and blow up and not finish this race, and you will be champions. The points difference is insurmountable, and now it's just a case of sorting out who is the driver's champion. Heidfeld, Gachot, well, they're both out of the race now. Moss, Rossi, Clark, none of them scoring points. Villeneuve, 8th place in the championship, is the highest placed driver, other than the Kas Racing cars in the championship who are going to score points. Inui's hit Jim Clark there. Clark's doing his best actually to ruin it for Inouye there. I would say title rival, but Clark's been on a run of 4 non-points finishes in a row. There's contact again as Clark does not want to let Inouye through. Yeah. It's 14 points is the difference. A little bit of quick maths. If it stays like this, the driver's title can only be won by Hamilton or Inouye. Because with all the big title rivals keep throwing points away, Kas Racing have scored points with both their drivers at every race this season. No other driver has scored points at every race this season, so no wonder they're just pulling away. Have reliability, they've had luck, and they've had pace. And they have left everyone for dead even when they've started at the back. So who knows, 21 cars remain in the race. Sergio Perez in last of all of them. There's just under 10 laps to go here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Gaps are just kind of appearing everywhere. As actually Chris Hoy's got past Stefan Beloff somewhere, and I hadn't even noticed that. So Hoy has made it up into 3rd past Beloff, while I was rambling about Constructors Championships. Where's he made the move? Because he's also left him quite considerably. Oh wait, no, it was down to Redmond ages ago. No, was it? It's too far back for me to bother rewinding, especially if it is like 5 laps ago. Yeah, Kas Racing just seem to have the rub of the green. Whatever they do to make everybody else go away, perhaps they've got an execute order 66 button on their steering wheel that just makes everybody else, all their rivals, just get out the way. As we've got somebody off 12th place, I think that's Kobayashi. It is Kobayashi's the next driver out. So High-Tech's, yeah, there's an engine blow up. So having heard that they've not won the title, Kobayashi's decided, oh screw it, I don't want to drive this car anymore. This race, man. There's 20 cars left. And it's all the leaders who keep disappearing as well. That's the odd thing. Not the back markers blowing up, it's the guys at the front. This season, well, this championship has just had a leader's curse on it. A leader's curse that Kas Racing has somehow managed to break. Heidfeld, he was leading, Moss was in second, Verstappen took the lead and then he crashed. Vettel crashed up the lead, so yeah. Heidfeld, Moss technically for a tiny second went into the lead of the race when he got past Heidfeld, Verstappen and Vettel. 4 drivers in this race who've led are out. And Jim Clark is going to score points. If it stays like this, of course. It'll go wrong. I don't count your chickens. Like, Inoue could crash and Hamilton could then hit him when he goes half a minute behind. You know, actually that is the thing. The phantom pit stops. We're still not sure they're going to make it to the end. Hoy, I think, definitely will do. Hamilton might not. Gasho phantom pit stop, he's out. So that's something to worry about. Beloff phantom pit stop first, so he might have to pit as well. I don't even know what this race is going to end up as anymore. Someone's out in 4th place. They are. Stefan Beloff's engine is blown up now. So when I said that Beloff's might have to stop again, I meant pit stop. I didn't mean stop because his engine's on fire. Oh, it's gone through Redman. Well, through Redman, the engine's gone a bit red. Flames are burning. And that car is not going any further. So Villeneuve is now promoted into 5th, Prost up into 4th, Hoy is comfortable in 3rd. Gurney takes 6th. Fangio's going to get himself up in 7th, Button will take 8th. Felix da Costa's going to go up into 9th place. Senna 10th. John Watson will take 11th as Phil Hill has now got past Mika Hakkinen. Jim Clark will make it into 14th and Damon Hill is going to be in the points places. Oh, the race that keeps on giving. And yet Kas is still going. Hoy's 3rd place is looking pretty assured now, but you can't say anything's assured. It's actually 14th place. I think Jim Clark has now pulled off with a blown engine. So yeah, don't count your chickens, because... Oh, that's... Okay, 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place, 6th place, 7th place, 9th place, 10th place, 12th place. In the Drivers' Championship, all out of the race. It's 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 13th. The only ones in points is Taki Inoue. Is that Inoue? Inoue! What, I was just saying Inoue's blown up. Taki Inoue, the Japanese driver, had his home race. I'm talking about don't count your chickens because anything could happen. And then anything that could happen, happens, and Inoue's engine detonates. It goes through a revolver, and something's been shot. I'm not even focused on him and I see him in the background blow up. Okay, scratch that. 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th. Another race leader is out this race. That's the 5th driver leading this race to be out. 41, yeah, 1 hour 41. It's a slow circuit. It's long laps. We are well in squeaky bum time for most drivers and engines, even with the good reliabilities. So Hamilton's leading and he's got low fuel. Hamilton is going to have to pit from the race lead. Chris Hoy is 2nd, trying to wonder if he's going to inherit this lead win or if he's going to have to stop near the end. Alain Prost 3rd, he might still have to stop because I think he had to come in, so maybe Gilles Villeneuve is going to win this thing. Dan Gurney is in 5th, now thinking, can I get a podium out of all of this? Fangio 6th as Button's got up 7th. Felix da Costa's just overtaken Senna for 8th. Phil Hill's now going to find himself in 10th, with Watson going to go up to 11th. Hackman Hill, Mansell, and Sophia Flörsch is going to find herself, after having about 1 million pit stops, is going to score some points here. David Brabham, again, could also score some points here, having made another 1 million pit stops. And Perez is the last remaining driver running. There's 17 drivers left in this race. They still haven't got past anyway. Senna's having a look back past Felix da Costa here. They're running wide. Felix da Costa keeps the position. So Hamilton's running low on fuel. He's got 2 laps to go after this one. Yes, he's got 2 laps to go after this one. Will he be able to eke it out? Or is he going to try and go and lift and coast? Is he going to have to pit? Is he going to run out of fuel? Well, this race has changed its complexion. I think Chris Hoy hasn't got the warning. He hasn't got the warning yet, so I think he might be fine and might just make it. Hamilton, though. He is pitting. Lewis Hamilton from the race lead. So Kas Racing, having me said, oh, they've got to come from 1-2 now. That's gone. You know he's blown up and Hamilton's having to pit. Well, so Hamilton's going to have to pit. He's quite a long way ahead. Hoy is going to inherit the lead, and he's probably going to survive unless his engine blows up. I'm not ruling it out. Prost is 11 seconds behind. Villeneuve is there. Gurney's 5th place. I have a feeling Hamilton's going to come out ahead of Fangio's 26 seconds back. So it's only going to have to be the tiniest of splashes and dash. Come in, fuel to get him 1 lap, basically. Button's low on fuel, but he should just make it to the end. Crawl across the line, then run out of fuel. But Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton, he's going to start the last lap of the race in the lead in the pits. That's if he makes it, of course. He could always do it at Heidfeld and crash here. He hasn't. And Chris Hoy takes the lead. As we begin the final lap of the Japanese Grand Prix, Chris Hoy is suddenly leading. When he was 40 seconds off the lead about 20 laps ago. Alain Prost is promoted into 2nd, with Villeneuve now into 3rd. Dan Gurney 1 place off the points. And Lewis Hamilton is going to exit the pits ahead of Juan Manuel Fangio in 5th place. Button is going to make it to the end of this race. He doesn't need to come into pits because, well, don't go into the pits, Jensen. You'll lose places to Senna and Felix da Costa. I mean, that'd be the stupidest thing because the finish line is past pit lane exit. So somehow, out of nowhere, having been passed a load and not shown much pace, and starting 13th on the grid, with just 3 corners to go, Chris Hoy for DTK Racing. I did say that he's the latest of the pit stoppers. He might be able to scrape it to the end of this race. The Phantom pit stop has worked, and Chris Hoy is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix for DTK Racing, his 2nd win of the year. And well, it's been an up and down season for him and the team, but there you go. Alain Prost is going to come across the line to take 2nd place, a podium for Falcon out of absolutely nowhere. And Gilles Villeneuve takes 3rd in the Bravera. So that's 9th, 11th and 5th in the Constructors' Championships have just taken the podium respectively. Excelsior get a spectacular 4th place with Dan Gurney, his best result by a country mile. Lewis Hamilton takes the championship lead as the Constructors' Championship is won by Kas Racing, but it's a race that they inherited the win of and then threw away with a few laps to go. Phantom pit stopped slightly too early and it's bitten them back. Fangio takes 6th for Red Knight, a team that started on pole but then Moss got screwed up. Senna takes 7th. Felix da Costa, I think that's his best result in 8th. And he's 26th in the championship, so he's going to fly up after that, I'm sure of it. Although, it's all the guys at the bottom are scoring the points. Phil Hill takes 9th, so a really strong result for Excelsior. John Watson in 10th. Mika Hakkinen 11th, so brilliant points here for 2KF1. That will probably jump them past Bangalore and potentially past Jaws as well. Barton takes a really distressingly bad 12th for Hartley. He didn't really do much wrong, just pitted at the end for no apparent reason. Damon Hill takes 13th for Jaws, Mansell 14th for Jaws, and Sophia Flörsch, despite having made more trips to the pit stops than I'm bothered even counting, is in 15th and scores the final point for NLE Motorsport. Brown across the line 16th, Perez in 17th, and that's everyone. Well, I mean, thank you for watching, thank you for somehow keeping up with whatever the hell just happened there, because yeah, no, that was one of the most strangest of races I've ever seen. Overtaking was everywhere on a circuit that I didn't expect to be quite as prolific for overtaking, and well, the win was decided on the final lap in not the way that I was expecting. But anyway, that that is Global Formula Automobilista. It's a spectacular series in which anything, and I mean anything, can happen, as shown by that race. What the Drivers' Championship is going to look like after this, I don't know. I've basically just thrown a load of numbers at the championship sheet, and it'll all change. So, well, if you think that was crazy, it's Adelaide next. And last year's Adelaide Grand Prix was just... if you think this was crazy... Well, actually, no, I think this beats Adelaide last year. This was ridiculous. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this race, please chuck a massive like on the video, because if any race deserves it, that race deserves it. Unless you're one of the managers whose drivers just blew up. But it was a fun race, so please chuck a like on it anyway. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're part of this and not one of the managers and want to know how to get involved, follow the link in the description to the RaceDepartment thread. Come along, join in. 28 cars on the grid. You can have 32 in the race. You can have any more if you want. We'll just do some pre-qualifying. Join up. Season 3 will start pretty soon after the last race. Only 2 races left. So the Drivers' Championship is hotting up. It's between Hamilton and it's between Inoue. So we'll see who becomes the champion. Could be decided next race at the Australian Grand Prix. Thank you for watching and goodbye.